Most businesses you start will fail. According to data, 75% of businesses collapse within the first 15 years. But there are 5 ideas that are literally built to succeed. For example, self-storage facilities. They have a 92% success rate. 92! This might sound insane, but think about it. The main reason businesses fail is they break the #1 rule in economics. They fail to solve a real problem. And what's a problem almost everyone has? They have too much stuff and they need somewhere to put their stuff. That's why opening a storage business is such a secure choice. All you need to start is space and you have a 92% chance of succeeding. But guess what? The ideas don't stop there. I also have 8 more creative ideas that are so cheap to start that you won't lose a penny even if you do fail, which makes a total of 13 ideas, 13 ways to dramatically improve your life and get you on the path to a fulfilling, well-paying career. But before that, I'm going to show you an idea that I've made millions of dollars from. Believe it or not, the transportation business has a 76.4% success rate, and they're actually pretty simple to start. All you need is a vehicle and to put yourself out there, which is exactly what I did when I was 19. And this taught me 2 major lessons that equal success in any business. But first, let me tell you a story real quick. I was working part-time at a struggling moving company while I was building another business, a pool cleaning company. Eventually, I quit that moving job to go full-time at the pool business. Well, about 5 months later, the owner of the moving company, who I'd never met before, he was in town looking to sell the business. There was a new manager and he was doing an extremely poor job. So the owner approached me offering to sell. I was extremely worried. I thought this had to be a scam. I thought there was no way I could ever do this. But little by little, I learned everything I could. I talked to lawyers, did every bit of research possible, and I finally jumped in. I made the deal. Now, I say I bought a business, but I was really just buying a name and 2 trucks. All the employees quit. I needed new licensing, new insurance, banking, sales funnels. The business was essentially dead. That ended up being the hardest but greatest thing I have ever done. For about 15 months straight, every waking hour went into that business. We grew by 1,500% in that time. Within 3 years, I had 4 locations across the country, 90 employees, and multiple millions of dollars per year in sales. From that one business, I've been able to build financial freedom for myself, allowing me to live in the Caribbean, make YouTube videos, and browse the internet for memes. The transportation business can do the same for you. And here's the 2 lessons I learned. Number 1, serve a market in need. This is why transportation hardly ever fails. People need it, and there's not enough of it. And 2, remember who you're competing against. Call any local business, and there's a more than 50% chance they don't answer or you get terrible service. Yet they still don't fail. Those businesses are always around. If you can do better than that, you can succeed. And this brings me to the next business idea, a cheap to start one that goes hand in hand with moving and logistics. Think about how you feel when you move. Is it relaxing, joyous? Probably not. For most people, it's one of the most stressful things you can possibly do. It sucks, you're uncomfortable, you have a million items on your to-do list. Running my moving company, I deal with these stressed out people every day, and one of the biggest issues they have is switching their utilities over. So right away, there's a gap in the market where people are uncomfortable and you can insert yourself and help them out. All you need to do is get very familiar with your local utility companies and their internal processes for switching accounts. Become an expert and start charging to do this for people. I would personally pay good money for this. I hate setting up new accounts and doing that whole utility thing. It's totally possible in the present day to do this service with those safe password sharing sites like LastPass. And in terms of marketing, I would try and partner with moving companies, realtors, self-storage facilities, and apartment buildings to sell this as an add-on service to people who are already moving. It's so simple and obvious people need this. I'd also make sure you get set up on Google My Business for your service, but more on that later. I'm telling you, this could essentially be started today for $0. But now, let's go from utilities to utensils. Writing utensils. And a service that is very near and dear to my heart. YouTube is everywhere, and one thing almost every video has in common is they involve words being spoken by creators. As channels grow, there's less time to write every script, so writers are often hired to solve this problem. I hate to break that to you, if this is the first you've heard it. But if you like writing and you know YouTube, you can make money from this today. With 3 samples of your work, you can start an Upwork profile and begin getting jobs for YouTube, copywriting, and business marketing. There are thousands of copywriting jobs with new ones posted every single day. Some people making well over $100 an hour consistently, like 40 hours per week. And this actually reminds me of something I learned from this old copywriting book. Right here, it's called The Boron Letters. This author is one of the greatest copywriters of all time, and he says you must always find a hot market first. A product can't always find a hot market, but a hot market can always find a product. Well, to join this hot market, all you need is your time and maybe a laptop, and the ability to string a sentence together, which is easier said than yeah. But look, this is a super cheap business to get into. However, one thing you've got to know is even in a business as simple as freelance writing, I can't urge you enough to protect yourself from liability. The easiest way to do this is to set up an LLC. For most states, this is easy and pretty cheap, far cheaper than a lawsuit ever will be. Here's a company I've used in the past to quickly set up LLCs. It's called Northwestern Registered Agent. They automate the entire process for you at a reasonable price. I'll leave a discount link in the description below. But look, YouTube is a huge platform, and there's more to it than just words. For example, on YouTube, you need good editing so your videos flow. And again, have plenty of memes. If you enjoy this sort of thing, then video editing can be a great idea. All you need is a good computer and some time to learn the trade. And you know, I've never actually said this publicly, but I edited my first several hundred YouTube videos myself. Zero experience, and I made over $1 million in YouTube ad revenue doing that. And I did that while working part-time because I was running my moving company at the same time. And I also did it using free software, DaVinci Resolve, totally free. If I can do it, you can certainly do this too. And that's my goal here, not to brag to you about what I've done, but to show you this is completely possible if you just put your mind to it and just try stuff. When you try stuff, stuff just ends up working. Now, like writing, you can use platforms like Upwork to find clients. I'd also look into short form editing for TikTok because many creators are hiring for this and willing to pay thousands a month for a pro. Just don't forget your memes, and remember they have to make sense.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
My biggest tip for editors is have attention to detail. If you don't make obvious errors like cutting a line incorrectly or showing the wrong reference on screen, you're already in the top 20% of all editors. Those are 2 cheap ideas. But let's jump back to something that's statistically bulletproof from failure and might annoy you a little bit. The real estate game can be tough to get into, but the property rental business has an 85.3% success rate. Insane. For example, I own a house that cost me around $25,000 down, all in. Not exactly cheap, but it profits around $1,000 per month. A worthwhile investment, and not a huge one considering the incredibly high success rate here, adding more proof to that famous Andrew Carnegie quote, 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. More money has been made in real estate than all industrial investments combined. And even though the stock market outperforms real estate technically, it's pretty hard to deny that the real estate business solves a very real problem: giving people somewhere to sleep. So I'm not surprised it's such a reliable earner, an 85.3% success rate. However, I do have a 90 and 95% success rate for 2 business ideas coming up in a minute. For now though, if you can't afford to get into property, you can be creative and start businesses working on people's property. Properties need maintenance. An obvious example is their lawns. It's a chore that most don't want to do. Okay, there's plenty of dads out there that do want to do it, but those aren't your customers anyways. Your customers are everyone else, and it's cheap to start. For a few $100s, you can set yourself up as the one-stop lawn, mow, and blow solution. This was my very first business, not the blow part. I started with general garden labor when I was just 13, and then I saved until I could afford to do lawn care. That might sound mundane, but this business helped me escape being chained to a life of living paycheck to paycheck. Because before that, I was working for $6 an hour on a farm, and I hated it. And when I quit, I immediately was making more money with my own business. It was a revelation, like a literal light bulb moment, like, wow, okay. There's a way out of this prison. And I 100% believe that you can do the same. You can absolutely start something and make more money than you are right now while having more freedom than you currently have. And I say you specifically because just by watching this video, you're already 10 steps ahead of most people. The hardest part is starting, and you've already started. Now it's simply time to pick a direction and just try it out. And no, it doesn't have to be lawn care. There's a million ways to make good money, even within the home services niche, like pressure washing, for example. Even cheaper to start than mowing, and most homeowners could use the help. Or a home cleaning business. Many people need it, most operators suck, and you can do better, so you can make great recurring income. It's really that simple. Now, all these businesses work, but are you passionate about them? Probably not. Good news here is even some passions can make great money. The next one's pretty niche, but for the right person, it's a dream come true. Agricultural businesses have an 88% success rate. Seriously. But don't think this has to be some massive farm with fields of corn and thousands of cows. No, you can grow high quality produce on whatever small amount of land you have and sell that at your local farmer's market. Research shows that produce sells for 40 to 70% more at those farmers markets. Some are reporting profits of $300 per day doing this. So if you enjoy gardening and learning about seasonal vegetables, you can grow produce and make a great living doing it, which brings me to a key lesson that I learned from another book, which is called Build by Tony Fadell. When picking a business, choose something you want to learn about. There are a million ways to make money, but chances are there's only several things you're actually interested in learning. So go down that route. What do you want to learn? So in this case, if you're interested in gardening, you can turn this interest into an actual business that pays your bills. You can even extend this to selling flowers, plants, baked goods, or honey, whatever you're interested in. And again, you don't need a farm. You just need a garden of some kind, or depending on what you bring to the market, could just be a kitchen. Another idea off the back of this is using a platform like Shopify, you can easily set up a store and sell foods directly to customers, since DTC. If there's a hot market for what you enjoy making, pickles, hot sauce, peanut brittle, then you can probably make a business doing this and selling it to customers. And if growing isn't your thing, you can also do curated resale. This means you find incredible products and resell them under your own banner. For example, selling wild Alaskan salmon in areas where only farm salmon is available, like this company in New Zealand. Here's 2 ways I'd market a DTC food brand. Number 1, find influencers who are interested in that particular product and mail them personalized versions, which just compels them to post it on their social media as a form of cheap advertising. We've all seen this happen before. And 2, there's a dedicated subreddit for everything. So I would go on Reddit, find your niche like jerky, pickles, or I don't know, tuna, and become the most helpful person on the planet within your niche. Answer every question, give insights, make the community feel like a real community, and I promise it'll drive sales. Now, if you're feeling hyped up right now and you want to start your online store as fast as humanly possible, Shopify really is the easiest way to do it. I'll have a custom discount link for them in the description of this video. And speaking of food, vending machines have an incredible 90% success rate. Upfront costs here are around $3,000 to $7,000, but you can actually get pre-owned units for even less than that. As far as business models go, vending machines are pretty self-explanatory. You find a high-traffic location, reach out to make a deal, put a machine in there, stock it, and people give you their money. It's literally a machine that just makes money. Here's some insider knowledge on how a vending machine company I know gets units within big office buildings. They find the office manager, that's the guy in charge of purchasing supplies and making sure maintenance does their job within the building. This vending machine company then continually sends that office manager gifts. They just keep on sending him stuff in order to win him over. And of course, subtly they remind him like, hey, this would be a great service to you and the people in your office if our machines were in your building. And guess what? It works. People love gifts and they respond so much, and this company makes such insane profits, it's ridiculous. Now that has a 90% success rate, but there's an idea with a 95% success rate coming up in just a second. But first, if you want an even simpler business model, here's a concept that I always keep in mind. What is obvious to you isn't obvious to everyone else, which means you might know something that other people would be willing to pay to know. With that in mind, selling online courses can be a wonderful avenue, provided you have something to teach. And obviously you have to find out if there's a hot market for what you're teaching, but chances are there is. And the online learning market is forecasted to reach $400 billion by 2026. Just ask yourself, what knowledge do I have that other people might pay for? Because that knowledge, the stuff you're taking for granted right now, might just be your keys to financial independence and living a life that actually excites you. And the good news with courses is that people are becoming more and more receptive to paying for specific, high-quality information. The problem with social media like YouTube is it doesn't allow you to go very deep. Data shows that as soon as you go specific on a topic, viewers just check out, because it doesn't serve the majority. But that's not the case for courses. You can go deep, and you can actually help people who are ready to make a change and want you to go deep on that topic. I've built 2 courses, one for each of the 2 things that I've made the most money doing in my life. Number 1, how to start a $1 million moving company. Number 2, how to make millions from YouTube. Each has more than 50 step-by-step videos detailing exactly how to start, which allows students to skip all the guesswork of being a beginner. There's real value there. Remember, your expertise is insanely valuable. Both my courses have made hundreds of thousands of dollars and get next to zero returns because they actually work. They fulfill the promise. And I help this by offering a no-risk guarantee. This is huge. Students who buy my courses have 30 days to try it out, and if they're not satisfied, they get a full refund, meaning there's literally no risk in signing up, only benefits. If you can do that, you can and will drive sales. By the way, if you happen to be interested in the moving industry or YouTube as a business, I'll have my courses linked down below, as well as a limited coupon for this video only. Just use code BUSINESSIDEA for $100 off. Now next is one of my favorite ideas. Google My Business GMB is a free tool that many businesses don't use properly, meaning they're missing out on huge amounts of exposure to customers online. Now, you might think you don't know anything about this, but what are the odds that you can figure it out faster than the older generation of business owners out there? Pretty high. You can help them with GMB by setting it up, running it, and actually improving it, which means more clients, bookings, sales, and money for the business owners. In return, you charge them a fee every month, $200 to $500. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but the more clients you get, the more this adds up, and there's a program I'll link below that essentially automates all of this. Here's an example of what you can easily do. You can set up automatic text for missed calls so customers don't go looking down the Google search page for another business if your business misses their customer call. You can make it so customers can directly message the business from Google, much of which can be completely automated. And you can set up post-purchase review requests, helping to move your client's business towards more 5-star reviews. This will all massively help their business, making them happy to pay you because they're making so much money from the results. Local businesses need a live presence on Google to stay competitive and stay at the top of their game. And these businesses are all around you in every single city. Hairdressers, bakeries, clothing stores, painters, you name it, they all use Google, and there's a demand for someone like you who understands these platforms to pitch them your services. And because Google has access to such a large customer base, they're going to want your service again and again because you'll be adding so much value, which is one of the most important elements of business. You want the ability to resell customers again and again. This is because the lifetime value of a customer who comes back again and again is much higher than a one-time purchase. It's much more of a stable business. Now, we have one more cheap to start idea and the secret business with a 95% success rate. Cheap to start is influencer management. Influencers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they might be popular personalities, but how many of them know how to run a business? Many go viral, blow up quickly, then have no idea what to do next to become a viable business. And even though I don't consider myself an influencer, having a background in business, I understand the influencer business model, or lack thereof. I was lucky to have experience in being an employer and manager way before a YouTuber. Like I said earlier, I had 90 employees before I ever made a YouTube video. So when I started YouTube, it was clear how to build out the actual business side when I needed that side of the business. But let me tell you, that's not the case for 99% of YouTubers, even the big ones. They want to focus on the content, not the business, and that ultimately slows their growth. But the good news is, if you have management skills, your skills are needed in this space. Trust me. Everyone I talk to, they need help here. A no-brainer business is reaching out to influencers to help them with anything from sales to ads, management, processes, systemization. And if you can do this at scale, reach out to me because I'd like to be a part of that business. Bottom line, influencers are busy divas and they all need help with something. Laundromats have a 95% success rate. Who knew there was such a demand for laundry? I mean, I guess it makes sense, like laundry equipment is expensive and not everyone's apartment comes with a machine. I don't care. All this means is people have to wash their clothes and you can be the one to profit from it and essentially never fail. If any of these business ideas have inspired you, I encourage you to dive in today. Don't delay. Everything I reference will be linked in the description. Do your research and get started. Because the most important lesson in business, every business idea has a 100% chance of failure if you don't try. So get out there, start today, and of course, subscribe.